Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking into something called the 369 method.
hmm Yeah, it's a technique that pops up a lot in, manifestation circles.
Right, and we've gathered some notes on it. The basic idea seems to be you write down affirmations,
Specifically, yeah, 3 times in the morning,
then 6 times in the afternoon.
that's it. And then 9 times at night.
Okay, so quite structured. And the goal, based on what we've seen, is to really embed these desires deep down.
Pretty much, into the subconscious mind. The aim seems to be aligning your thoughts, feelings, and ultimately your actions.
To achieve, well, whatever you're aiming for, love, money, success, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's presented as a tool for achieving those goals.
And there's this interesting link that keeps coming up, Nikola Tesla.
Ah, yes, the Tesla connection. That's definitely a core part of the narrative around the 369 method.
So apparently he was really fascinated by the numbers 3, 6, and 9.
He certainly was. There's that famous quote attributed to him, something like, if you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, then you would have a key to the universe.
Wow. Okay, key to the universe. That's quite a statement.
It is. And, people have really run with that. The idea behind the method is that these numbers aren't just random.
They hold some kind of significance.
Well, that's the claim. Some sources talk about sacred geometry, others about unique mathematical properties, or even specific energetic vibrations tied to these numbers.
Interesting. So the method takes Tesla's fascination, or this interpretation of it, and applies it directly to manifestation.
Precisely. By using that specific 3-6-9 repetition sequence for your affirmations, the idea is you're tapping into whatever power or significance these numbers might hold.
Okay, and do the notes mention specific meanings for each number, like why 3, then 6, then 9?
They do. It varies a bit, but generally 3 is often linked to creation or maybe mind, body, spirit, that kind of trinity concept.
Makes sense. And 6?
6 is often associated with harmony, balance, maybe emotional stability.
Okay. And 9?
9 is frequently seen as completion, attainment, or connection to, like, universal energy or consciousness. The end of a cycle, perhaps.
So the sequence itself, 3, 6, 9, is thought to kind of build on itself, moving from creation to balance to completion.
That seems to be the underlying symbolism, yeah.
Yeah.
Using this sequence is supposed to align your intention setting with these, I guess, natural or cosmic energetic patterns to boost the manifestation.
Fascinating. It adds another layer beyond just simple repetition.
It definitely does. But, beyond the more esoteric or numerological side, our notes also touch on the more grounded aspects.
You mean like the psychology or even the science of just repeating things?
Exactly. Affirmations and repetition, they aren't new ideas. And there's some thinking from neuroscience that gets pulled in here.
Ah, like neuroplasticity.
Precisely. The brain's ability to change and rewire itself, that's a well-established concept.
So the thinking is, if you keep repeating an affirmation,
You're essentially carving out and strengthening the neural pathways linked to that belief. You're making it feel more real, more familiar to your brain.
like wearing a path in the grass, the more you walk it, the clearer it gets.
That's a great analogy. And the idea is that your subconscious mind, which, doesn't always distinguish sharply between vivid imagination and reality, can start to accept these repeated affirmations as true.
And if your subconscious accepts it as true.
Then it can start influencing your automatic thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, even how you perceive opportunities around you.
Okay, and wasn't there something in the notes about the RAS, the reticular activating system?
Yes, the RAS. Good point. Think of it as your brain's filter or like a gatekeeper for your attention.
Right, it helps you notice things relevant to what you're focused on. Like when you buy a new car, suddenly you see that model everywhere.
Exactly that. So when you consistently focus on an affirmation, you're essentially telling your RAS, hey, this is important. Look for stuff related to this.
So you might start noticing resources or chances that align with your goal, things you might have otherwise missed.
That's the idea. Not necessarily that new things magically appear, but that your perception shifts. Your brain is primed to recognize relevant information.
So connecting this back to the 3-6-9 structure, that specific timing and quantity, is it supposed to supercharge this neuroplasticity and RAS priming?
That seems to be the rationale. The structured, timed repetition, 3 times, 6 times, 9 times, is believed to be a more potent way to embed these desires.
More effective than just, say, thinking about it once a day.
Potentially, yes.
Hmm?
The rhythmic nature, the consistency, the increasing number throughout the day, it's designed to really hammer the point home to your conscious and subconscious mind, accelerating that process of internalization.
Right, that helps clarify the why. Let's get practical. How does someone actually do this method day to day? What did the sources say?
Well, the process itself is described as pretty straightforward, but the key emphasis is always on consistency. You have to stick with it.
Right, so morning time.
Morning time, you pick your affirmation. It should be clear, positive, present tense, like it's already happening.
Mm-hmm.
And you write it down by hand 3 times.
Writing it, not just thinking it.
Yes, the physical act of writing is often highlighted. It engages you more actively. That morning session is meant to set your intention for the whole day.
Okay, then afternoon.
Afternoon, you take a pause, refocus, and write that exact same affirmation again, this time 6 times. This reinforces the intention, keeps it active in your mind.
Got it. And finally, nighttime.
Nighttime, usually right before bed, you write it down 9 times. This is often seen as the most crucial step for the subconscious.
Why is that?
The idea is that as you drift off to sleep, your mind is more receptive, and writing the affirmation 9 times helps program it into your subconscious overnight.
So it's working while you sleep, almost.
That's the concept, yeah. Allowing the desire to sink in deeply during that receptive state.
So this daily rhythm, 3 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, 9 at night, it's not arbitrary. It's designed to create this constant loop.
Exactly. A feedback loop. You're constantly re-engaging with the intention, keeping it top of mind, reinforcing the belief.
And that sustained focus, combined with the potential subconscious programming, is what's believed to speed up the process of attracting or creating that desired outcome.
Yes, it's about creating a sustained vibrational state, if you like, or just a very consistent mental focus. The act of writing at these intervals directs your energy and attention repeatedly towards the goal.
Which in turn could subtly shift your mindset, your choices, how you react to things.
All in ways that ultimately support achieving that goal. It bridges belief and action.
Okay, so let's try and bring it all together then. Based on our sources, the 369 method seems to blend a few key ideas.
You've got that layer of almost mystical significance tied to Tesla and the numbers 3, 6, and 9.
Right, this idea of tapping into some underlying universal pattern or energy.
Then you have the more psychological or neuroscientific angle, using structured repetition, the affirmation, to leverage neuroplasticity and focus attention via the RAS.
Harnessing how our brains actually work.
And finally, you have the practical application. A very simple, disciplined, daily writing ritual. 3, 6, 9.
It provides a clear structure, a kind of disciplined approach for people who want to actively work on their mindset or manifest specific goals.
Exactly. It offers a defined path, a systematic way to engage with your intentions consistently.
Which really leads to a final thought, maybe for you listening. Considering everything we've just unpacked, this mix of intention, repetition, potential energetic alignment, and brain science.
Yeah, he makes you think.
It does. Where in your own life might a focused, structured approach like this feel, well, compelling? What goal or area might benefit from that kind of sustained attention?
And maybe stepping back even further, what does this whole method and the interest around it suggest about how powerful we believe our own thoughts and intentions can actually be?
Definitely some interesting questions to ponder. Food for thought long after this deep